chapter 17, verse 41. This is so nice. This Second Kings. Second Kings. Second Kings, chapter 17.
Verse 41.
Verse 41. Actually, we'll focus in on that, but we're going to be reading 22 to
17.
41. First Kings.
22
I'm
to
sorry.
41.
Second Kings.
Two Kings, Second
Two
Kings,
Kings.
2 Kings, 17.
Two Kings. Filipino din yun eh.
17.
Two Kings.
2 Kings, 17.
Two Kings. 17, 41. 2 Kings, 17.
2,
Two Kings.
Oh my God.
17.
22, 41 muna. 41.
41.
41. Yung sabi sa 41. So these nations feared the Lord, yet served their carved images. Also their children and their children's children have continued doing as their fathers did even to this day. Let's read 22 to 41. Volunteer someone to read, pero maraming names ito. Maraming foreign names. 22 to 41.
Okay.
Ayaw nung ano natin.
Okay,
eh.
reading 22 ako.
Okay.
And the people of Israel persisted in all the evil ways of Jeroboam. Then they did not turn from these sins. 23.
Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants by all his servants the prophets. So Israel was carried away from their own land to Assyria, as it is to this day.
24.
The king of Assyria transported groups of people from Babylon, Kotha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharvaim, and resettled them in the town of Samaria. Replacing the people of Israel, they took possession of Samaria and live in its towns.
Therefore the Lord.
But since these foreign settlers did not worship the Lord when they first arrived, the Lord sent lions among them, which killed some of them.
So it already says right there what it does to you.
Reported to the king of Assyria, the people you deported and resettled in the towns of Samaria do not know what the God of that country requires. He has sent lions among them, which are killing them off, because the people do not know what he requires.
Then the king of Assyria gave this order: have one of the priests you took captive from Samaria go back to live there and teach the people what the God of the land requires. So one of the priests who had been exiled from Samaria came to live in Bethel and taught them how to worship the Lord. Nevertheless, each national group made its own gods in several towns, where they settled and set them up in the shrines. The people of Samaria had made at the high places. The people from Babylon made Succoth, Benoth. Those from Kutah. People from Babylon, made Nergal, and those from Hamath made Ashima.
31.
31.
Talagang marami
Avides
pangalan.
made Nibhaz and Tartak and I don't know, I cannot read this. Burned their children in the fire as sacrifice to Adrammelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. They worship the Lord, but they also appointed all sort of their own people to shake from them as priests in the shrine at the high places.
They worship the Lord, but they also serve their own gods, in accordance with the customs of the nations from which they have been brought.
To this day, they persist in their own former practices. They neither worship the Lord nor adhere to the decrees and regulations, the laws and commands that the Lord gave the descendants of Jacob, whom he named Israel.
Then the Lord. made a covenant with the
I guess she's going.
He commanded them, do not worship any other gods or bow down to them. Serve them or sacrifice to them.
But the Lord who brought you out of Egypt with mighty powers and outstretched arm is the one you must worship. To him you shall bow down, and to him offer sacrifices.
You must always be careful to keep the decrees and regulations, the laws and commands you wrote for you. Do not worship other gods.
Which would be one.
Oh, and
Do not forget.
yeah, and the I'm sorry, I'm reading.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
can't
fine. That's
speak for
mas
some
maganda
reason.
nga kung may
And the covenant that I have made with you, you shall not forget, nor shall you fear other gods. But the Lord your God you shall fear, and he will deliver you from the hand of all your enemies. However, they did not obey, but they followed their former rituals. So these nations feared the Lord, yet served their carved images. Also their children and their children's children have continued doing as their fathers did, even to this day.
In our reading, is there anything that really stands out to anyone?
The false idols.
The false
idols is
idols.
one of them.
Okay.
Even-
Ano pang nag-stand out sa atin dun from 22 to 41?
Yung how they quickly forget about God's commandment.
Okay. Ano pa?
41.
Yung 41.
41.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even
Is there
while these
anyone
people
else? Is
were,
there anything else na nag-stand out sa inyo?
yeah, that makes sense. Like you can praise God, but then still worship other things.
Which is this
If you look at 41, and Jen, ang sabi niya, nag-stand out sa kanya to, no? Even while these people were worshiping the Lord, they were serving their idols. To this day, their children and grandchildren continue to do as their ancestors did. Ang translation, the translation of here, worshiping, is actually, in verse 41, it's actually precisely translated as fear. To worship, the word worship here. And these people had a healthy fear of God's, of what Israel's God could do. Diba? From the verses that we read, no? 22 to 41. But their service, this is really interesting. I was reading it and it's really, and it struck me really. But their service, and the service here means work or obedient effort. So, worship is the fear, what Israel's God could do. And on the other hand, service is the work or the obedient effort of the people. But then, the problem here is they were worshiping the Lord, or they have the holy fear of the Lord, and yet their service is to their home gods and the gods of their fathers. Diba? So, it strikes me talaga na there is a difference between worship and service. So, ang ano nito is, there's really a big difference between the two. And I was kind of, siguro you can help me out too, because I was kind of defining worship, diba? Worship
And
is...
idolizing, right?
Yeah, what is worship actually?
A great example for that is Mary and Martha.